These are the fragrances that truly make me happy. Whenever I smell these perfumes, I instantly get a mood boost. I have niche, designer, and affordable options here, but the commonality between all these fragrances is number one, they boost my mood, and also number two, these are fragrances that I feel comfortable smelling every single day. I don't get sick of them. They're pretty much my go-tos. If this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love perfumes and I talk about them on here almost every single day, but you can get a guaranteed video from me on Wednesdays along with a ton of bonus content in between. So definitely consider subscribing if you have not already done so. So I personally want to start off with this fragrance right here. This is a niche brand called Milano Fragrenze, and this fragrance is called Basilica. This is a savory gourmand perfume with notes of incense, I believe sandalwood, thyme, rosemary, and a milky note which comes off as very bread-like. So I, in the past, have been very picky with lactonic notes, and milk has been one of them. So there was a time when milk to me smelled sour. This was the first fragrance that I've ever tried that really I did not have that experience with whatsoever. This smells very bread-like, like a savory za'atar bread, and I do not believe that was the intention. I went to a Essence, I spoke with the brand, and they were very surprised when I shared that interpretation with them, but to me this does smell very much like za'atar bread, and I don't believe I'm the only one online that says so. This is a really beautiful scent that doesn't last or doesn't have like a nuclear beast mode lasting power or projection, but it does have longevity. So it'll stay on for a while. It'll also stay on very well on fabrics, but I like to spray this on pretty heavily because it doesn't have a beast mode projection, if that makes any sense. So I personally love smelling this. This is the type of comforting scent that I always go for. So this is a perfume that I truly, truly love the scent of, and it's one I wear constantly. Next one is a newer addition to my collection. Most of these are tried and true favorites, but this is one that I tried recently and I'm pretty much over the moon with. It's Kaori by Paris Corner. This is specifically Kaori Pistachio, and it's a fragrance that has a light citrus at the top and it has a slight booziness to it, but the hero note here is really a beautiful nutty pistachio. It's such a pretty perfume. It's really, really beautiful throughout the journey of this fragrance. It opens like a very citrusy perfume, but then the dry down is really kind of like a vanilla pistachio. It's gourmand, but not too literal. It still has a little bit of variety to it. I do love my nutty fragrances, but if I had to think about a perfume that I'd want to smell every single day, I wouldn't necessarily want to smell a super nutty gourmand perfume constantly. I think I would need a little bit of a break, but with this one, since it's so bright in the opening and there is a bit of complexity to it, it's not just that rich gourmand, and it is a little bit of a lighter scent. I think I'd be okay with smelling this on a more consistent basis, and it still remains one of my favorite perfumes that I've purchased recently. Another scent that I really love and enjoy smelling is L'Imperatrice by Dolce Gabbana. This is a designer fragrance. It's pretty affordable and it absolutely is a divine fragrance. I have a smaller size that I've pretty much completely used up. This is a larger backup bottle that I purchased because I cannot go without this fragrance. It's a watermelon, cyclamen, and rhubarb scent. It's sweet, but it's very fizzy. It's very tart. If you're looking for a scent that smells like a light, refreshing cocktail, this is ultimately it. It's so, so good. There's nothing that I've smelled that's similar to it. It's just such a really pretty scent, and it's one of those scents that genuinely makes me happy. All these fragrances, when I smell them, they make me happy and they make me feel comforted. They make me feel at ease. These are fragrances that I genuinely enjoy smelling. Whenever I get a whiff, I get a boost in mood. So these are, I guess, my mood boosting fragrances. I wouldn't say they're like my top fragrances for life because I think that's a different video, but these are the fragrances that genuinely make me happy, and L'Imperatrice is one of them. Another perfume that actually doesn't last as long as a lot of these other scents, but still is a fragrance that I would be totally fine with smelling on a regular, everyday basis because I love it so much, is Aqua, Allegoria, Forte. This is Guerlain's Mandarin Basilica fragrance, and essentially, yes, it's a citrusy fragrance with a little bit of an herbal touch with the basil. Such a beautiful fragrance. I love this scent. It's a classic for a reason. I do prefer the Forte version because this is the eau de parfum. The regular one has the eau de toilette concentration, and I think the eau de parfum still is a little bit on the lighter side, so it doesn't last forever, but it does last long on clothes and hair. But it's just a light, bright scent that I absolutely love and I'm obsessed with. It's a classic for a reason. This is a fragrance that is forever going to be one of my most happy scents in my collection. This is another fragrance that I absolutely would love to smell each and every single day. This is another fragrance that I am absolutely obsessed with. This is Haramain's Junoon Noir. This is a fruity kumquat perfume with a bit of woods in the dry down, but what really is the star of the show here is a beautiful powdery vanilla. And it's one of those interpretations that I would never get sick of. A lot of powdery fragrances I love and adore, but I don't know if I want to smell like it, or I don't know if I want to smell them every single day. This is one that I would absolutely be okay with smelling every day, or smelling like every day, because it's just one of those easy reach fragrances that you can wear in a variety of different settings and not have to worry about it being too repetitive or too overwhelming like a lot of powdery fragrances can be. This to me is just right, and it's also pretty affordable as well. It's right around the $50 mark, and I would say the longevity with this is pretty impressive, and the sillage is absolutely amazing. I do get compliments whenever I wear this. Next up is another favorite of mine. This is a masterpiece by Une Nuit Nomade. This is Love at First Sight. I've been talking about this constantly, and there is a very good reason behind it. This is one of probably my top 3 fragrances for the spring and summertime, because the sillage on this is absolutely stunning. It's a lilac perfume with passion fruit and ambroxan. So it seems pretty simplistic when you think about the notes like that, but the execution is spectacular. This is a fruity perfume, but the ambroxan really just like pushes the sillage out there and makes this just such a magnetic fragrance. And the lilac adds a little bit of a powderiness to it that I absolutely love. I was wearing this when I was going out with some friends yesterday, and I put this on in the mid-afternoon, and I could still smell it later at night. So it is a perfume that has terrific longevity. It's one of those fragrances that you put on and it has phenomenal sillage. People will smell you, but it's not going to be overwhelming. So Love at First Sight, one of my all-time favorites. This is a perfume that I sprayed in my hair last night and I can still smell it. So that just tells you how amazing this perfume is. It's so underrated and one of my absolute favorites. Another classic, Dior Pure Poison. This has an amazing sillage. I absolutely love this fragrance. It has white florals in the form of gardenia and jasmine, but it also has a kind of heavy musk that is absolutely beautiful. I think this is like a cleaner musk. It's not as animalic, but I do think it's a clean musk with a bit of the gardenia in here. I do believe the gardenia and jasmine make it a little bit more like a heavier scent, but it still is a perfume that you can wear to the office. I wouldn't overspray this though in the office. I'd wear like maybe 1 or 2 sprays. And it's also a scent that really draws people in. People really like this one. It does have citrus at the top and it does have a woody dry down, but the focus here is mainly on the musk and the florals. Pure Poison by Dior is such a classic for me, and this is absolutely a scent that I keep going back to for a variety of occasions. I talked about this next fragrance in one of my recent videos where I talked about my top 3 compliment-getting perfumes, and this is called Kaori's Onsen Minerale. This is a niche fragrance brand that is relatively new. I believe they launched in the past year, and so far they have 2 fragrances. They have Melon Masu, which is a sake-inspired scent with cucumber, and then they have this one, Onsen Minerale, which is a gorgeous fragrance, and it's such a unique scent. It has the note of hot top steam. It has the note of hot steam, yuzu, woods, a bit of aromatic touches here as well, and it is mineralic, but the dry down is absolutely stunning. This is such a gorgeous scent. I consistently get compliments on it. This lasts all day and night if you wanted to. It's such a heavy hitter, and you can tell I have like a baby dent in this because I do use this fragrance a lot, but because this fragrance is so potent, I don't have to do any more than like say 2 or 3 sprays if I really want it to last. This is just one of those fragrances that really draws people in, and to me, it's one of the most magnetic scents in my collection that I personally would be totally fine with smelling every single day. I don't think I'll get tired of this, and it just makes me happy whenever I smell this fragrance. Another fragrance that has an amazing sillage, a lot of these fragrances, in fact, I would say all of them have terrific sillages, but this one is particularly compliment getting. This is Replica's On a Date. This is a beautiful fragrance that has an aromatic twist on a rose, and it also has a bit of fruitiness with grapes. This is one of those fragrances that seems a bit simplistic. I don't understand why this fragrance does not get more attention, because it's just a beautiful, gorgeous floral perfume without being too sweet. It's so pretty. I really, really love it. And it also is a terrific fragrance to wear during the springtime and the summertime when you don't want something that's too overbearing or too heavy. This is a beautiful, light, aromatic rose that people do tend to really love when they smell it in the air, especially. So this is Replica's On a Date. This is my #1 favorite fragrance from the brand so far. I really love it, and it's a fragrance that I personally am totally fine with smelling all the time because it does give me the kind of like happy, uplifting mood that I want from one of these kinds of perfumes. This next fragrance is from one of my favorite niche brands, Reinvented. This is a gorgeous perfume that is super unique. It's called Pheromones, and no, they don't have pheromones in here. They have a note that's supposed to smell like pheromones. And let me actually read you the notes so you can kind of get an idea of what this is supposed to smell like, because it's a very complex fragrance, and then I'll tell you what I interpret it as. So you have top notes of pink pepper, saffron, bergamot, mid notes of cardamom, elemi, jasmine, orris root, and rose, and then a base of lathanum, vanilla, sandalwood, musk, vetiver, and cypriol oil. So this is a fragrance that has some florals here. You have a light spiciness, but you have like a bit of sharpness, especially in the opening. It does dry down to something that's like very, almost like a milky, aromatic perfume. There's something quite interesting to it. In the opening here, you definitely get a bit of a sharpness to it. I believe that comes from the citrus, but then the dry down is where you get a bunch of that spiciness. This is a beautiful take on a saffron fragrance paired with those warm spices, but the way this is done is so beautiful because it's a very well blended fragrance. There's nothing in this perfume that's overtly glaring or that sticks out in any way. This is a very smooth and buttery interpretation of these notes, and it's absolutely gorgeous. In the dry down, I do get the lathanum and the sandalwood, which I really do love. Lathanum to my nose can smell almost leathery sometimes, but it's a very suede-like leather. There's no leather in this fragrance. It's a very soft perfume, but it does have terrific longevity. It lasts pretty well, and it just is like one of those smooth and buttery, everyday, any time of year fragrances that I absolutely love and can't get enough of. So in terms of like the most unusual fragrances in this video, I would definitely say this is one of them. Next up, or in no particular order actually, would be Once in Minerale, and then I also think Basilica is very unusual. So if we're talking about the most unusual fragrances in this video, I'd say these are probably them. Actually, also this one as well. Ooh, I Love at First Sight is also very unusual. I guess On a Date can also be counted as unusual. And I'm not saying that like all these fragrances, and I'm not saying that these other fragrances are super typical, no, but I would say if you're looking for something like very like interesting and very out there, very super, super unique, those would probably be the ones. But to be quite honest with you, I love all of these fragrances and they all make me very happy whenever I smell them. They're all essentials in my collection, and it's very hard for me to choose just a few of them because I love them all so much. But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you found this interesting and enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye.